The first time you call a god's name and they actually answer, you'll know, because it doesn't feel like what the books promised. Most guides treat gods like cosmic vending machines. Put in your prayers, light the right incense, say the proper words, get out blessings. Protection, love, money, whatever you ordered. Which is exactly why most people never get a real response. The gods aren't cosmic customer service. They're not waiting by the phone hoping you'll finally reach out. And when they do show up, it's never just about you. The aestheticized version you see online strips out everything that matters. The perfect altar photos, the gentle guidance, the empowering messages. What they don't show you is the terror. The nights you can't sleep because something vast is pressing against the edges of your awareness. The demands that have nothing to do with your comfort or your 5-year plan. Gods have their own agendas, their own work in the world, and they will absolutely use you for it if you open that door. Real deity work isn't about lighting a candle and feeling spiritual. It's about entering a relationship where you are not the one with power, where you might be asked to give up things you thought were non-negotiable, where the you that started this isn't the you that comes out the other side. That transformation isn't always beautiful. It's not always wanted, but it's always real. And you can't undo it once it begins. Here's the part nobody wants to hear. Offerings aren't gifts. They're payments. They're acknowledgements of debt. They're your way of saying, I know you're real and I'm not taking this lightly. You're not bribing a cosmic vending machine. You're entering into a relationship with something that existed long before you and will exist long after. And every relationship has terms. What a god wants from you varies wildly, and it's almost never what you think. Hecate doesn't want your pretty altar set up. She wants you to do your shadow work. The real kind. The kind that makes you cry in your car. As doesn't want your warrior aesthetic. He wants you to stop being a coward about the one thing you keep avoiding. Aphrodite doesn't want your rose quartz collection. She wants devotion that actually costs you something. Vulnerability. Risk. The thing you're afraid to give. The worst mistake you can make is approaching them like a therapist or a wish-granting app. They're not here to validate you. They're ancient forces with their own mythic patterns, their own stories, their own momentum, and the second you call on them, you're stepping into those patterns whether you realize it or not. You're not hiring help. You're joining something already in motion. And if you don't know what they want, you're going to find out the hard way. Real signs aren't subtle. They don't whisper once and disappear. They repeat. They escalate. They show up in ways that make your skin prickle because the synchronicity is too specific to ignore. You see the same symbol 3 days in a row, different contexts, impossible coincidences. A name you've never thought about suddenly everywhere, in a book that falls open, in a conversation you overhear, in a dream that wakes you up at 3 a.m. That's not your brain pattern seeking. That's something else. Here's the difference between a calling and wishful thinking. A calling disrupts your life. It makes you uncomfortable. It pulls you towards something you weren't planning, didn't ask for, maybe don't even want. Wishful thinking feels good. It confirms what you already believe about yourself. A real divine contact. It challenges you. It asks you to grow in directions that feel awkward or scary. It doesn't fit neatly into your aesthetic. And here's the test that cuts through everything. If you have to convince yourself it's a sign, it's not. When a god actually reaches out, you'll spend more time trying to talk yourself out of it than into it. You'll look for rational explanations. You'll tell yourself you're imagining things. Because the alternative, that something vast and ancient is paying attention to you, is legitimately unsettling. That resistance, that's how you know it's real. Start with their stories. Not to show off what you know, but because you need to understand who they actually are. Their loves. Their enemies. What wounded them? What made them laugh? You're not studying for test. You're learning the language of someone you're about to invite into your life. When you finally reach out, make it formal. Make it real. Gods can sense desperation from realms away, and they're not impressed by flowery language that means nothing. Be honest about what you want. Be honest about what you're offering in return. And here's the thing about offerings, they have to mean something. Not expensive, necessarily. Meaningful. Sacred space matters, and it's different for each of them. Deities doesn't want your quiet meditation corner with the white candles and the gentle incense. He wants wine. He wants wildness. He wants you slightly undone. Hades isn't showing up to your brightly lit altar covered in crystals and oracle cards. He wants silence. Stone. The kind of darkness that makes you remember you're mortal. Athena needs your sharpest thoughts, your cleanest precision. She's not interested in vibes. She wants your mind at its best. You're not decorating. You're creating a threshold. A place where their energy can actually land. Get it wrong and you're just talking to yourself in a room you made pretty. You're going to mess up. Not if, when. You'll forget an offering on the night you promised it. You'll misread a sign so badly you'll wonder how you ever thought you were intuitive. You'll approach with scattered energy, half present, phone in your pocket, and expect a guard to meet you there. And here's what nobody warns you about. Gods respond to disrespect in ways that feel devastatingly personal. Because they are personal. This isn't cosmic indifference. This is a relationship you damaged, and you're about to feel it. The signs of divine displeasure aren't subtle. Your life gets chaotic specifically in their domain. Work with a love goddess and suddenly every relationship around you splinters. Honor a god of abundance and watch your finances spiral for no logical reason. Your dreams turn dark, not nightmare dark, but cold, empty, the kind where you wake up feeling utterly alone. The work stops flowing. Inspiration vanishes. And you feel abandoned in this specific piercing way that's different from depression, different from burnout. It's the feeling of a door closing that you didn't even realize was open. Making amends isn't complicated, but it requires something most people aren't ready to give: actual accountability. You apologize formally, out loud, the way you'd apologize to someone you hurt in real life. Then you make restitution through action, not just words. You follow through this time. You show up. Because some gods will test you precisely by withdrawing. They'll go silent just to see if you actually care, or if you only wanted them when it was easy. Here's what actually shifts when you commit to a deity, and I mean really commit, not just light a candle twice and hope for the best. Real devotional relationships rewire how you see yourself. You become capable of things that used to terrify you because you're carrying their energy now. They're myths. In your body. When you're devoted to Hecate, you don't fear crossroads anymore. You become one. When you carry Kali's presence, destruction stops being something that happens to you and becomes a tool you wield with precision. It's not metaphor. It's felt, embodied, structural change. You'll start noticing their presence everywhere. Not as signs. Honestly, the sign hunting thing is what beginners do when they don't trust the relationship yet. What I'm talking about is deeper. It's a felt sense. A knowing. Like having an ancient witness to everything you do. You'll be washing dishes and feel Hestia's attention. You'll be navigating a nightmare work situation and recognize Athena's strategy unfolding through your own thoughts. It's intimacy. It's eerie. It's exactly what you asked for. And here's the trade-off, the one nobody warns you about. It's permanent. You can't unsee what they show you. Can't unknow what they teach. Can't go back to the smaller version of yourself that didn't know gods were real. That's the point. That's the entire point. You're not the same person after this. You're not supposed to be. You standing at your altar in the dark, speaking a name into the silence, and this time you're ready for what answers back. Follow Blackfire Atelier. I'll see you in the shadows.